I was about to come out of creative. Pass. Die. They just don't want. Oh, finally. Yeesh. Hello. Welcome to my Bedrock Redstone tutorial high cow thing. I was kind of hoping I could just... No. Apparently not. Anyway. Putting this aside. So, basics since the Aqua update. The Aquarius update, whatever. When they redid the ocean things, they gave this block, which is a magma block, and this block, which is a sill sand block, new values or new purposes. They will now act as a water elevator up or down, and because there's air in it, you don't suffocate. Although I just walked the dogs. My hands are very, very cold. I'm sorry. You don't suffocate in this. But if you're stand on it, you'll still take damage. So you still have to crouch. Otherwise, you know, it's still a magma block. That one will pull you down. This one pushes you up. These are great for item elevators. And I'll get to that in a little bit. But they're great to get in and out. So the signs are absolutely necessary because Minecraft sees this sign as a full block and it prevents the water from coming in or out. So they're needed on the entrance and exit points depending on how you have it set up in order to get in and out without water going absolutely everywhere, because I've ruined more than one build not having the sign or having the sign misplaced. So over here is a basic hidden door. Pretty simple. The way this works is it works on a negative charge. And what that means is the torch is lit, lighting the redstone to the center of these two pistons. Now this behavior is new. It didn't used to be that you could power both pistons with one redstone line. With Bedrock, for the longest time, you would have to have two individual lines going in and out, and it didn't always work properly, and it was messy. So the fact that they fixed this and made this parity to Java is very helpful for stuff like this. So this torch powers this line, which powers these two pistons, which keeps these blocks in place. But in order to move those blocks, you have to turn this torch off. So in order to change the value of this torch, you have to give a charge to the torch from behind. Like that. So because this is now a positive value going into this torch, it turns it into a negative torch. This redstone torch, I can't talk, I'm sorry. Then it changed this to a negative value, turning this line off. Weird discrepancy thing here between Bedrock and Java is in Java, you don't need this piece. This is sufficient. Actually, I wonder if you still don't need that piece. If I routed it, like this. Here's that piece. I'm just not taking it away. Oh no, cool. That's new too. You used to have to have used to be required to have a piece of redstone right there. Otherwise, it wouldn't activate the torch. So that's nice, because now we can butt power blocks, and that's what that means, is you're taking a redstone line into the butt of the block. Now, one of the reasons why this is really good is because if you're fast enough, you can hit that button and then remove it and then go through the door before the door closes. That way you can completely hide if you're running from someone. If you need to lengthen the amount of time that this door stays open, then what you do is you just add another repeater like this, and then change the ticks to 4. and that will delay that signal. It's supposed to delay that signal. Maybe it's not delaying it enough. I don't know, but it will delay that signal. Actually, I probably need to delay this signal, don't I? Because that's once it gets there, it doesn't matter. No, this is the signal I need to delay. I'm a dork. Okay, so here I have increased the delay by a total of 16 server ticks. That's quite a bit longer. And the longer you make this up to, I think, 40 blocks that way, the longer you can, this will go. Oh, look at that. So that's one door. That's one way. And I've seen people use this door and they'll carve out a tunnel like this, like tons and tons of tunnels like this, like they were strip mining. And they'll have one tunnel that is very, very long. They'll go like 50 blocks each one. But the one tunnel, it'll be solid stone like this. And the bottom will have some andesite, and the top will have some andesite, and the bottom row on the one side will have some andesite, and this will have scattered up and down. But on this wall, the top row will be completely empty except for one block of andesite where the button goes. So you place the button, you break the button, and you go through the door, and then the door closes behind you. And then in order to open the door from the other direction, you just simply do the exact same thing. You just take another button or switch or lever, and you power this line right here, and it'll open from the other side. So this is one way to do this. And the nice thing about this door and the way that it works is that it's completely tileable, meaning you can stack these next to each other. We're going to extend these out this way, and then we're going to put stone bricks here. We'll do this. Can we run this way? We can. Cool. All right. So let's test this for, like, realistically. How far can we get? Yeah, you can easily get through that, and then a few more. That's a nice, good long tunnel. Actually, I just had a really cool idea. Hold on, I gotta try this. All right, so I had a crazy idea, and I actually worked out a little bit. There's a little bit more redstone, some more repeaters, and now it goes underneath to the side, and now the doors open from both sides. So from here, it's gonna look like this. But what you can see it's doing is this. I think I would like to actually make this move faster by reducing the delay on all the repeaters just a little bit, but that's not a nothing. I'm not going to perfect this for this. This is just a very simple proof of concept. I'm actually just kind of went, oh, hey, looks kind of neat. I should probably try this. And it actually panned out really well. So I'm actually kind of thrilled with this little contraption. Okay, so this is the comparator. It's a little bit funny. It's got a little nib here that you can click on and off. It's probably one of the more confusing pieces. But the whole point of this little device is to compare its input versus its output. Now, this is the only redstone device where you can actually take an input signal from not only the back, but the sides as well. And the way this works is really kind of interesting. So if we were to take a redstone lever here and kick this on, well, first of all, that's creating a loop, and we need to not do that. All right, that's much better. So you can see that the comparator is comparing, or the comparator has got the signal input and is counting the signal strength from this lever, and it's turning off lamps at a certain point out because it's basing its output based off of how strong its input is. Now, to demonstrate this, if I drop a lever here and kick it on, then it turns it off. And that's because the signal strength coming in from this input is stronger than the signal strength coming from this input. Okay, so in short, the signal strength coming in from the side is stronger than the signal strength coming in from the back, so it's cutting off that input. Now, if we were to take this and add one more plus another lever, then it still cuts off all the way around. However, we were to take this and cut it down. Actually, we'll put one here and one here and flip that lever on. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 in. This is still 2 in. But if we were to take this and flip it, now because this signal strength and this signal strength is the same, then it puts out, still gives out an output. Right? If you think of it as numbers, 15, 14, 13, 12, right? This is 15, 14, this is 15, 14. So these 15, 14s is still stronger than this 12 input. So if we were to kick this off, 2 more out, and turn this one off, then it would turn on because the input coming into the back is stronger than the input coming from the side. So the back input is always the priority input. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so now we're going to get into subtract mode a little bit. So we're going to hit this button. And what we can see here is now we only have one redstone output. And that is because it is comparing this signal and subtracting the strength of this signal for this one output. Okay, so here we've got a comparator with just redstone. And if you just kick it on like this, it's just a solid redstone signal of 15. However, in subtract mode, you see it starts making this clock. And what's happening here is this lever is putting out 15, and it's 15, 15, 14, 13, goes back into 12, and then comes back around a couple more times until eventually it becomes 2, 1, and then there's no signal coming back in, which turns the redstone off, but then you have an input of 15, which turns the redstone back on. So this clock is because it's counting back on itself. And this is good for if you're wanting to shoot something out of a dispenser, for example. Okay, so this next circuit is kind of interesting. So what is happening here is a comparator always puts out the same output of the input going in. So if this is putting in an input of 8, it's putting out an output of 8. So if this is 8, this is 7, this is 8, this is 8, this is 7, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, until eventually it turns itself off. This is good for a long delay circuit if you want something running for a short period of time, but not really long term. Because clocks like this, well, nifty, you get enough of these stacked high enough, it really lags the server up. So rather than needing to turn something like this on or off, this is a good solution for something that only needs to run for a very, very short period of time. Okay, so I use this particular redstone circuit actually quite a bit. And this is an auto dropper. So if we were to take this and drop it into here, what did I do wrong? I'm missing something here somewhere. Hold on, let me fix this. Does this not work in Bedrock? Just a sec. All right, I had to reconfigure it because this circuit that I've used over and over and over again in Java does not work in Bedrock. This is one of those fine examples where there's a difference between the two, and I had to like suss this one out myself. Normally what would happen in Java is this little bit of redstone dust fully butt powers this block, and because it's powering that block, I wonder if I could... Can I, hold on. Is this a block? Nope, it's not passing through. Well, that's a bummer. So normally this configuration works. And this signal is enough to pass through to butt power this block. And because this becomes the power block, then it powers the dispenser, or the dropper in this case. But it's not working because the redstone, it works differently in Bedrock. So if we add this little repeater with a no tick on it, with one tick rather, then you can see it's automatically spitting everything out. And this is great for like item elevators. So if you have, for example, an input let's stop this. So you're out caving, you're out exploring, and you're like, oh man, I need to like empty my inventory. You can come up and you can see I've got a chest on the hopper, and you can just start throwing stuff into the chest. And as it feeds through the hopper into the dropper, then it spits it out. And the way this works is that because the comparator is picking up the signal strength from the dropper, then it's creating this circuit. There we go. That might help. I was missing a piece. Creates a circuit that then feeds through, powers this dust, which powers this dust, which makes this, but powers this block, and it has an output big enough that a repeater can pick it up and it feeds it back into the side of the comparator. So because this, for a short time, is stronger than this, then it turns it off because the outside input is canceling the in input, like we showed over there with this. Because this signal is stronger than this signal, so it cuts off this signal. So because this is putting out a full 15, because it's a repeater, repeaters always put out a full 15, then that's going to be stronger than whatever's in here. So if this fills all the way up, then these inputs will be equal and it will turn off. All right, so where this particular circuit becomes fun is in an item elevator. So something I think I forgot to mention over there was when you're making these, every single one of these blocks needs to be a water source block. And there's two easy ways to do this. One, you can get a bucket and you can just manually like every single block all the way down and all the way up. The other thing you can do is a piece of kelp. And I don't know, I don't know if this works in Bedrock. I guess we're about to find out. If you plant kelp here. Nope, I can't. Oh, that's frustrating. I wonder if I was to swap this out with just dirt. And then can I plant kelp? I can. Okay, so every time kelp grows, then it turns that block, whether or not it's a source block, into a source block. So rather than needing to throw a bucket of water on every single one of these cubes, I just made my own source by using kelp, and kelp is easy to get. It's in the ocean. So drop this down, throws me up. I'm just gonna come right into here, and we're just gonna do this. So the fun thing about these is the taller they are, they hit a maximum velocity, they will go flying in the air quite the distance. And they'll just sit up here at top and despawn eventually. So I use this particular circuit a lot for item elevators, for item filters. And that takes us where the next part I think is going to be important for a lot of people to understand. And I don't know if this is going to work in Bedrock because so far a couple of these circuits have not worked like I expected them to. The comparator is a very, very nice tool. It's also very confusing and I don't fully understand it. And this next one is a prime, actually that was a prime example of it. This next one isn't too tough. Let me get it built up. It's for an item filter. Okay, so I'm not quite sure the door mechanism that people are using to get in and out, but this is a very basic door lock function I have seen lots of people use. Very simply, it is a hopper going into a chest with a redstone torch underneath, with a comparator, with an output, and a repeater that's going to a pair of pistons. And basically, it doesn't have to be in this configuration. People can change it however they want. But anytime anything goes into this hopper, then it powers output and opens or closes the door depending on what it is, much like how that over there functioned. So, but the problem is anyone who happens to know where this hopper is, because you can put a carpet on it and hide it, can get in or out or whatever you're locking or unlocking. So, but there's no way to determine what is and is not there. So there's an easy way to fix this, is you take this whole thing, condense it down, and turn an item filter out of it. And that looks like this. So this looks complicated. It's really not. This hopper is going into the comparator which has a line out, powers this, but powers this repeater, which is powering this, which is not powering anything right now. But this torch, because it's underneath this hopper, is locking the hopper. Anything that goes in this hopper, like this kelp, for instance, is not going through. It's never going to go through. However, because we only need a signal strength of like 2, then we can easily power this by putting stuff into it. So the way you want to do this is you'll take a stack of, in this case I'm using soul sand, and you're going to put something in each one of these last 4 slots. And then you want to drop your items that you want to filter into the top slot. Now this will stop counting down at about 18. So you can see here, it's powered all the way down, unpowered the torch, which means things are coming through this hopper and they're ending up in the chest. So if you make this a unique item by naming it, then it won't power anything. So you can take this output right here and attach it to a door. Or rather this output, and attach this output to a door. Just like we attached this output right here to a door. So the line coming in cancels the line going out. Right? So same basic concept. It's just that this torch in this particular example is also this torch. And that would be enough to give a pulse to open or close a door, and then you just rename this item to unique item, because then it doesn't matter what people throw on it, it won't open it. It'll just sit on top because it can't go in. But that's the basic gist of that right there. You can automate a lot of things with these handful of like contraptions. Most of the stuff I have on my Java world is built around this. Oh, there's one thing I did not cover. Hold on. But that is on my Java world. Let me swap over. Oh! Oh, jeez. Oh, man. How? Grr. So. Home sweet home. This is my Java world. I am working on a fairly large hole. This is going to take me a while. That's not what I'm here for. All right. But let's first of all find a bed. And let me show you this other last circuit I'm talking about. It's actually underneath my maze in the amusement park area, as it loads in very slowly. So, this has... Oh, right. That's so disconcerting for some reason. So the circuit has got a function. And you can hear it right there. There's note blocks that run underneath the structure. Whoops, a little bit of lag. Why can't I get in there? All right, here we go. What? So, this song plays continuously through the entire thing. There's only one way to turn it off, and that is at a platform at the very top, on the exit. So it plays the whole time. And you can see it comes here. Oh, someone must have walked over it. So what happens, oh that's interesting, is this signal right here is the restart. And it plays on a loop continuously. So what that button over there does, it runs and powers this block, and it pushes it over, powering this repeater. So what happens Like the comparator, if the input on the side is stronger than the input on the back, then it cancels out the input entirely. You can see that the input from the repeater coming from the side of the input coming that way, not comparing signals, it's crossing signals, therefore it cancels the signal. Where did it... You see it's back now. So this is great for turning a signal off for something you don't want to repeat. This isn't used very much, and I don't know of very many cases where it is useful in large-scale projects. It just happened to work for what my needs were in this particular case. Yeah, there was someone standing on the pressure plate. That's why it's up there. There's a monster up there standing on the pressure plate, which means I need to light the exit a bit better. That's not a now thing. Anyway, I think this just about, if I could fly, just about takes care of anything I can think of that would be useful. Anyway, if you have any further questions, if you have like concepts or things you're trying to understand, please feel free to ask, and I will be happy to fill them the best I can. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Stupid creepers screwing with my video figures.